I'm a OG boy. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. OG boy. Day we hustle, but the night we OG boy. Know that they ride or die. I'm a OG boy.
Hey, you guys, please bear with me today. I am so under the weather. It's not even funny anymore. I don't know what to do. These sinuses versus and including allergies are literally kicking my behind. So I want to do this story, so bear with me. I'm trying to see out of. I'm not trying to be funny, but the right side of my face is like really clogged up. My eye is watering, but I want to get this story out. So if I fumble over words like I normally do, please forgive me. But this story is about Jocelyn, Ghisaline Maxwell. I don't know why I always called her Jocelyn, but her name is Ghisaline Maxwell. They found her guilty of the 5 accounts out of the 6 of sex trafficking of young girls that were underage, and she was friends to me, not just an associate. She was close friends with Jeffrey Epstein, the infamous Jeffrey Epstein, who had this thing called Pedophile Island. If you want to see it, just Google it. You'll be able to see his island and some of the pictures that was taken of his island. And a lot of guys, they have a lot of information. I have some information that I want to share, but I'm afraid that if I share this information, they may hit me with a community guideline strike or something like that. But it's not something that I'm making up. It's something that is actually true that you can see for yourself. Even if you have actual facts, YouTube has a habit of striking your channel, and like I said before, they need to have some type of communication button that all YouTubers can communicate with a team member, so that the team member could view the video themselves and say, well, you know what, you shouldn't have been struck with this strike, and let us take it off. I think that they should come up with something like that, because a lot of us that are under 1,000, we have no way of truly fighting. They can say no because it's basically like we're little peons. But enough of that. So what I want to talk about is Ghisaline Maxwell guilty verdict will very likely get tossed out, and her case will be retried after juror comments on sexual abuse, experts say. So what happened is, I'm gonna read it though. One of the jurors actually discussed the fact that they were to a victim in their past life of sexual abuse, and that might have been the reason why everybody found her guilty of 5 of the 6 counts that she was facing. But to me, I feel like if somebody can share their experience of the horrors that they went through being a victim by somebody else, I think that that should be something that they should also allow into the testimony, into the deliberation. Because a lot of times when a person, or young lady, young man, whatever, come up and say, hey, this person did this to me and did that to me, and people will easily say, well, you know what, how do we know it's true? Maybe she did ask for it. So it's so easy to take the side of a person when you really don't know the truth. So I think that some events, they should allow somebody's testimony on the effects that it had on them in their life, especially if they're a victim of crime, not just making up stuff, but really doing a background check before they actually are allowed to speak their piece about what they went through, and knowing that they were telling the truth, and not just making up something. I really feel like sometimes they should allow that type of evidence into deliberations, because give a person a sense of what this person might have gone through, because you got a lot of women out here that have been I can't say the word because YouTube will get me for that word. A lot of women that have been sexually assaulted, and you have these people that don't know or never experienced it before, and they're trying to find out whether this guy is guilty, and he goes in the court and put on the best act he's ever put on. His lawyer makes him look like he's the model citizen of the year, and that victim becomes shamed and victimized again. So I really think that there should be some guidelines where they will allow somebody's personal testimony when it comes to deliberations, or helping out with a decision. Okay, so let me continue. It says here, a jury last week convicted Jeffrey Epstein's associate, Ghisaline Maxwell, of sex trafficking. 2 jurors this week said they shared their own experience of sexual abuse during deliberations, which I think should be included, like I said, to a certain extent. Experts called the comments an absolute disaster and said the case could be retried. I don't think it should be retried. She has enough evidence up against her, whether that juror spoke up or not. But she has enough evidence up against her to know that she actually is guilty. The victims are speaking. There's amount of evidence against her. A week after Ghisaline Maxwell was found guilty of sex trafficking, 2 jurors in the case told media outlet that they have swayed the juror by sharing their own experience of sexual abuse during deliberation, disclosures that could jeopardize the trial. I don't see why it would. They should at least allow something like this to come forward so that people will really know that people are suffering at the hands of other people, and when you have a person that's accustomed to abusing people and they continue to get away with it, it's almost like I'm untouchable, and now I'm just going to turn up the heat and I'm going to do something even more disgusting. Okay, let me go ahead. Maxwell, a British socialite and longtime associate of the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, was convicted on 5 of the 6 counts against her on December the 29th, that's 2021, that is, after 5 days of deliberation. A juror, Scotty Davis, identified only by his first and middle names, told the Independent and Reuters that he used his personal experience of usage doubts that other jurors had about some of the accusers. So to me, that kind of threw me off a little bit, the way they worded it. So what he did was he shared some of his experience so that they could understand, what these girls actually went through, basically, is what they're saying. Accusers' testimonies. I should have finished that. A second juror told the New York Times that they also shared personal experience of sexual abuse that appeared to help shape the jurors' decisions, which is good. Now, I don't think that they should do too many of them, because it will definitely prejudice the jurors during deliberation. Okay, so I say hats off to those people because they actually spoke up. Prosecutors filed a letter on Wednesday requesting an inquiry into the remarks. Michelle Mark reported shortly after Maxwell's attorneys filed 2 letters requesting a new trial. I don't think they should give her a new trial. She's guilty. She knows she's guilty. When people are guilty of committing crimes and they get away with it, it's almost impossible to get them to understand the wrong that they've done, because they've been getting away with committing crimes for so many years. Lawyers told Insider that the jurors' remarks to the media were devastating for the prosecution and could mean the case would need to be retried. Excuse me, you guys. I think I told you in the beginning, I'm having this sinus thing going on and trying to get this story out, and I'm blinking in between words. So, wow. This is the absolute last thing you want when you get a guilty verdict said, ooh, I'm just going to say Rahmani. I'm not going to mess with that first name. The president of West Coast Trial Lawyers and a former federal prosecutor, excuse me. You don't want the jurors talking to the media, excuse me. You don't want them saying something that will result in a mistrial. Well, how is it a mistrial? That's not a mistrial. She's guilty of everything that she's done. She's always been there beside his side. Knowing that she was the one that was actually helping him get the women, the girls spoke out and they said she was the one that was getting us. She was the one that was grooming us. She was the one taking us to him and just everything. She was soliciting it for him. You know what I'm saying? Not only for Jeffrey Epstein, but a lot of elites that were at the Epstein Island. If you don't know what Epstein Island is about, look it up, Google it. And that's the island where Jeffrey Epstein would take his girls, the young girls, the underage girls, and he would have his way with them. His elite friends would be there and have their way with them as well. So I don't believe anything, because a lot of ladies are of age now, and now they're speaking on the things that took place, and they named a few big time people, and I don't understand why these people are not being sent to jail as well. It almost seems like assaulting underage people is the way to go now, and now they're trying to give a new name for the people they call pedophile. They want to give it a different name, like, oh, men that like children or something to, soften the blow of what they like to do. I don't think it's right. It is what it is. They gave them that name for a reason. Why would you change it? That makes it seem like it's almost okay for you to go out and to harm a child and snatch away their innocence for your own fetishes and sick appetite. So let me see here. I'm reading everything, you guys. If the defense knew about it, they would have dismissed him. I don't think so. Court documents showed that jurors were asked during the selection process if they or any one of their families were victims of sexual abuse. Okay, I see what they're saying right now. David told Reuter that he flew through the questionnaire and didn't remember if he was asked about personal experiences of sexual abuse, but he said he would have answered honestly. But if he had answered affirmatively, it's doubtful the defense would have permitted him as a juror. Oh, come on, sinuses. Come on. And that's true. They don't want somebody to be in a trial that had a similar experience, which I don't think is right. I think that it makes it even better that you have somebody, that has been through what these victims are claiming, because they can sympathize with them, they can empathize with them, they can understand the emotions, the feeling, the trauma, the disappointment, and all that, the embarrassment. You can feel all that when you have somebody that's actually telling you, yes, me, myself, and knowing that it's true. I was a victim of this, so I do understand personally how these young women feel. I do understand the embarrassment. I do understand the shame. I do understand the helplessness. I do understand the hopelessness. I do understand the fear of knowing that, one, if somebody finds out, what would they do to me? Two, is this person powerful enough to shut me down or harm me? You get what I'm saying? Three, what are people going to be thinking about me now? Those are some real life issues and real life emotions that people have to deal with when they become a victim of somebody else. Okay, so let me continue with this. Where did I stop? Okay. Jurors will lie to get on a jury for two reasons: if the case is notorious, and if they have been victims of the same allegations and they want to convict. Yeah, most definitely. And this is what I don't know who they said he said, but I don't know who said it. Rahmani, I guess. Rahmani said it also appeared to him that David might have lied during jury selection. He said the defense attorney wouldn't have approved of him, and he cited the prosecutor's reaction to David's comments to the media. Oh God, I am going through a time with these daggone allergies and sinus. Oh, please, y'all, pray for a sister. Woo. I am so sorry. I am really struggling my way through this. I'm really trying to get through this the best way I can. Prosecutors requested an inquiry because they had an ethical duty to flag to the court concerns of possible prejudice, Romani said. I think I'm saying his name, Ronmi, or I don't know how I'm saying it, y'all. But they also took the unusual steps of requesting that David be appointed an attorney. Yeah, because they probably try to go after him, you know. And sometimes when you do that jury stuff, I know people that have actually been on a jury, been selected, and they told me that they blew through all the questions because they really didn't want to be there in the first place. And some people wanted to be there because they didn't want to go to work. So, you know, they answered whatever they answered just to, you know, get off of work, you know. Jurors say and do all sorts of things that are inappropriate or improper, but they don't get appointed an attorney, he said. That prosecutors thought that David needed an attorney suggests that they believe he might have acted criminally by committing perjury. Well, we will see. But why is this such a push to get her out? I believe, hold on, you guys, you're going to hear me in the background. Hold on. I believe that they're trying to get her off because just like everybody else that goes to jail, I believe that Ghisaline is going to start singing like a canary. That's what I believe. And the ones that know that she has all types of information on them, they don't want to take that chance of her, you know, singing and telling and dropping names. This is why I believe that they're trying to press criminal charges against him. If there were not big time elite people that were involved in this, and it's just like a peon case, I don't think that they would have cared that this guy David, you know, falsified information or, as they want to say, you know, lied. And to me, he probably did tell the truth and say, I just blew over it. You know, we don't know why he really wanted to be on it. If he did want to be on there to convict her, then hey, it is what it is. Another critical factor that could help Maxwell's is that both jurors said they believe their comments helped persuade the jury to deliver a guilty verdict. If he lied and if what he told the media was accurate, that he used his own experience to convince the jury to convict, you have perjury and prejudice, Rahmani said. But how do you know that David didn't do that on purpose so that it could be a shakeup and a retrial? See, we got to think about it in a different way, not just take it and say that the guy did it. But how we not know that David was planted there in the first place to commit perjury and to get a retrial for her? We don't know. So you got to think deeper. You got to think harder. You got to think better than what you've been thinking all along. So let me continue. I know what happened when I was sexually abused. I remember the color of the carpet, the walls. Some of it can be replayed like a video. Oh, come on, sinuses. Woo. David told the Independent, but I can't remember all the details. There are some things that run together. After sharing that, he added some jurors were able to come around on the memory aspect of the sexual abuse. So it jarred some people's memory on some things that might have happened to them as well. You know what I'm saying? But I still say, we don't know if he was planted there on purpose to do a mistrial or a retrial. We don't know what it is. We don't know what's going on because it all seems fishy, because one minute she's 100% guilty. Now all of a sudden this guy comes out and says, oh yeah, I told everybody that this happened to me, and it caused them to change their mind. This might be something that they're using as a tactic to get her a mistrial so that she can get lesser charges for the things that she participated in and has been guilty of doing. Jurors often draw their personal experience during deliberation, Rami said, and are free to discuss their past when doing so. It would only be an issue if David failed to disclose the sexual abuse on the selection questionnaire. If it wasn't disclosed, as Rami believed was likely the case, excuse me. Oh, come on, you guys, I need this help. Not y'all, I'm talking about these allergies. And David swayed the other jurors to convict, that would mean his comments caused actual harm to Maxwell, which is needed to prove prejudice. Prosecutors could argue that the comment didn't affect the verdict and that the jury would have voted to convict regardless, but that contradicts David's claims. Well, oh God, where are these people getting all these names from? Bahoma agreed that David's comment about persuading others were especially damning. If I was the defense team, I would be taking these quotes right out of Reuters, he said. It's saved by the media for Maxwell, he added. Had he not went off blabbing his mouth to reporters, we may have never uncovered it. Wow. So he ran his big old chops and opened his mouth. You know what? They have a clip here. And I think I'm going to go ahead and play it for you guys, okay? So go ahead and listen to this. It's better than me because my allergies is killing me. See there? They said the same thing. Anyway, you guys, I'm feeling like crap right now. I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thank you for being a part of it. Also, I am trying to work that StreamYards. When I go and I try to stream and I go back and look, I have no volume at all whatsoever. And maybe somebody can help me with the volume information. Volume instructions or something. But if I'm not sharing my screen, I have total volume. When I share my screen, that's when my volume disappears. But you guys, I thank you so very much. I'm going to go ahead and end this live. Talk to you later. Don't forget to hit that like button, post notification bell, and subscribe to my channel. And I'm going to take me some Benadryl later.